Good morning, it's Steve again with Slope Goat. Out doing a yard renovation project today. Madisonville. Let me show you around here just a little bit. I'm gonna flip the phone. So here we go. Got this little roughed area right here. Oh, by the way, we're out here next to the airport. In Madisonville, but anyway, I've got the area to my left right there. Come back around. Got this a little bit. Got a lot of bare dirt. We'll take her down about 150 feet or so down that way, 200. Come around, use the landscape rake, and I almost said the tough cut. That seems like what I've been using here lately. Come around this way. And we'll take this. Okay, first I know spring is not the best time to seed. Fall is by far. But in this situation, we've got a new house, no lawn, lots of dirt, lots of red dirt. So this spring we're going to level, rake, seed, and then come back this fall, I'll use the aerator seeder since it's already good and level to go over it again and hopefully build it up. May have to do it a time or two, but here's some steps I'm gonna do this. Step one, I'm gonna level, okay? And what you're gonna see is me leveling the septic line. I'll go 2 or 3 different directions. First time I'll cut some depth into it and go a little deeper, and then I'll go different directions and I'll go more shallow until I get it completely level like I do. One thing I want to say about the Ventrac, it really moves dirt well when you're going in reverse, and you can see me do that a time or two there also. And then when I've got the soil ready like I want it, I'll push and move the dirt around going forward and taking the dirt from the high places and putting it in the low places. Well, my next step is then I raise the rake to decrease the depth to level it out. And I'll go 2 or 3 different directions, and finally I will hit it with when I go in circle, that way, and you'll be able to see that here, and I cover the ground in both directions. And that's one of the 2 reasons I do that. And it really, if you put this in one of the shallower settings, it really creates a good level on it. And I'm sorry for one thing, let me go ahead and say this. I have lots of bad video that just did not take, okay? So anyway, step 3, I aerate the ground. Step 4, I did seed this, and you'll see me seeding it in some of the areas. Out in the field, I used Kentucky 31. In the lawn, I ended up using GCI Cool Blue, which is 85% turf top tall fescue and 15% Kentucky bluegrass. And I also fertilize, and I use a Scott's fertilizer, and it's got miso in it. It's a starter fertilizer. And then I'll aerate it. I started on the yard, started on the little corner right here. This is the first grade, or cut, whatever you want to call it. So going around through here, going to pick up a few rocks here in just a second. I've made just a couple passes, not all the way as deep as I'm going yet, because it really puts a stress on the machine. So I'm going through about 3/4 of the depth I want to get to, and the next pass, when I go the opposite direction, I'll probably go down about another ½ inch deeper. Anyway, here we go. been tearing the ground up a little bit. As you can tell, we're in the red dirt, red clay, whatever you want to call it. But the old Ventrac is nasty, and I'm certainly not going to show you me. I'll show you my hand just a little bit where my sleeve's been, so you can see what I look like. Well, I'm on the middle round. Taking me a lot longer than I expected. This always does. I'm just slower than I could be. But anyway, I'll come back through with one more. Ran out of gas here. I kept pushing it. I just liked 2 little sections before I was going to go in. But as you can see, I still got some piles of grass I've got to get. I'll take the landscape rake and get all that. But I was pulling all this uphill. It just wasn't level. But I am going to keep this up, do one more. Up here we're in pretty good shape on that, but we got a little more to do. Just finished this project. Let's take her down to the dirt. Here where a field once was, they built a new house. Neat house. But here's what it looks like after seeded. Well, let's go back. Power raked, landscape raked, seeded, fertilized, using the aerator in the seed box to run over it, pack the seed in the ground, it turned out okay. Now I'm on to my next project. After I get just a little video here and I'll show you the next one here in just a second. This one has been fun. Hard work, but fun. I'm worn out. Gotta get tougher if you're gonna be a goat. Hey guys, Steve again with Slope Goat. It's a couple weeks later after doing the initial work over at the C&D excavating the C part, the chase part of C&D, doing the lawn renovation. I finally have had time to edit the video and put it together today. Man, I tell you what, I shot a lot of video, but boy, so much of it didn't take. Got none of the aerator seeder, using that. Got very little of the landscape rake. And the straw blowing, got none of that. I have no idea what happened to the camera. And it's my iPhone I'm recording on right now. It sat there like it's on this tripod right now, but all I got was pinks, purples, and blues, and it just swirled. I got nothing else, no sound, and just swirling colors. Don't know what I did, but I'm sure I did something. Anyway, thank you for watching this video. If you made it this far, I really appreciate it. I am really trying to grow and do better with this channel. With this video, I did a whole lot more talking and trying to explain what I did instead of just putting music in and covering it. I still use some fast motion. I don't know how to use the hyperlink, or not hyperlink, but the hyperspeed and different things like that yet. I've got to learn how to do that. But anyway, this reno to about 23,000 square feet, and it was just red dirt. It was a pasture field, and so we're taking it and trying to make it into a nice lawn for these folks. Because C&D has a lot of customers over there that look, and he really wants his property to look good, his lawn around his house. And I understand that, and I am honored and privileged that he chose me to try to make it look like that, or like he wants it. Because my backyard looks that way right now. I might put a photo in here at the end just to show you what it looks like. That's where he wants his to go. And that's what I'm gonna do my best to get there. But anyway, the grass we used was from DCI, from Pete Denny. We ordered online. The shipping's free, but you do have to pay tax on it. We use the Cool Blue on this, and that's 85% turf type tall fescue and 15% Kentucky bluegrass. For the fertilize, I buy this at Home Depot. I'm sure you can get it at Lowe's too, but Home Depot's closest to me. It's Scott's Triple Action for seeding. It's got miso in it. It has worked very good for me. I've used it on several projects, and I use it on my own backyard. That way you don't have to spray it there at first, but it keeps the crabgrass down, the dandelions for about 5 to 6 weeks, and it gives your grass seed an opportunity to not have to fight for the energy from the sun or the water. So we took it from a pasture to a hayfield to the beginnings of a lawn. We leveled it, we seeded it, we used the Ventrac power rake, which you got a little video. We used the landscape rake, which again, you got just a little video. I had 2 or 3 angles, but got none of the aerator seeder, as I was saying, as I went over it and finished it. So let me tell you, since I mentioned that, let me tell you what I do. When I'm seeding, I go one direction and I come back over with the other direction. I think my Let's Go seeder is over there. And then I put seed in the hopper of the seed bin, so it gets it 3 different directions and usually a couple of different depths on there too. It has worked excellent so far for me to do that. And you probably ask, well, why don't you just use the seeder? I really like to go over it first with the aerator, which I didn't have to this time because I had so much loose dirt. And then spread it. Man, this Let's Go spreader does such a really, really good job. And then I come back over it with the aerator seeder, and I've got, probably 1/3 of the seed there at the left to go over it. And for me, it works great. Probably a little extra and maybe too much work, but it works for me, and my customers seem happy with it. Again, Chase of C&D, I appreciate him letting me work for him. In my barn here, they have the contract to do the concrete, and we're going to do concrete outside, and we've got 60 by 40 in here, but they're going to do that. I count it as a privilege to work for them because they do really, really good work. They've worked for me before, and both of them are really, really young guys. The D in the C and D is Dawson. Okay. One thing we did do, and I think I mentioned this, we put the straw down with a blower. If you buy straw, please don't use the straw or try to find straw without a whole bunch of seeds and just dirt in it. Try to find good, clean straw. Number one, it works best through your blower, your straw blower. And number two, you don't have all that mess of the straw or the wheat coming back up. And that's what happened to me outside this building. I did that last fall. But anyway, no video there, and it was pretty cool to watch the straw blow over all that. I had a couple of good shots for that. But to close this video out, thank you for watching. And I'm going to ask you, I don't ask this a lot, please like the video if you enjoyed it at all. If you liked it, and maybe some of my other videos, or you see potential in the channel, please subscribe. I'll try to do something different every so often. This is my 11th video, by the way, and I try to get better with each one. I try different things. This one, I used very little music and did a lot of trying to teach or explain what I was doing. So one thing I would like for you to do, and I do get some of these on my other videos, but comment if you would, especially if you see something you think I can do better or something you do that works for you. We all learn from each other. I would really one day like to grow this into a community where that we all help each other and help each other do better with the bench rack, the I don't do landscaping, but the lawn aeration and overseeding and all those different kind of things. So if you've got a suggestion that how I can do better with the video, what you like, what you don't like, or with the projects that I'm working on, if you see something I can do better, please let me know. But again, all I can do is say thank you for watching, especially if you made it this far. You're a glutton for punishment. But this is Steve again for Slope Goat, Tennessee, and I guess the old goat is out. This is what my lawn looks like. This is what Chase is after. With the project I just got through finishing up with. And this is, I've done this now 3 times. This part is very well off. Over here to my left, as you can see, that I didn't kill everything off, I just overseeded it and to see how that would go. And in this part here, I'm still working on. Had my septic dug up last year, and I did dig up some sod the other day, and I'm trying to place it. You can see the spots in the yard there, and I took it all the way down to that beech tree, and it's actually growing fairly good in the shade. It gets probably a few hours sun every day, and that's a pretty big tree that we're dealing with right there. So it has pretty good shade, but the grass is making it. But I do have to get the leaves off of it in the fall, or it really puts it back. But this has been done last fall and just a very little touch up this spring.